Hello, my fabulous fit friends. Welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Blake. I am a recently retired collegiate athlete. And if you are new here, hit that subscribe button so you never miss another video from Mwah. And then if you enjoy the content today, please hit that like button. Show me some love. It helps support me and my channel. All that jazz. Do it. Do it. So today we are going to be talking about workouts. So this is like the fun part about getting fit. So I'm super excited to talk about this video. I will be sharing some tips and things like that that can help you get it fit from home. I know these times are kind of hard if you're like an avid gym goer. I do have some tips, so I will go over those. And let's get into the video. So as I said, today we are going to be going over workouts, and I'm super excited about this. I will be going over a few tips about working out from home, but right now I'm just going to cover what my plan is and what I've been following. I just finished week 2 of my cut, so I've been following this plan for like a month now because it's just kind of been, I've been trying to figure out how to work out from home, and I kind of figured out what worked for me. I will say in advance that I do have access to at-home gym equipment. So I currently have a like mini barbell. It's not full width, but it is like a barbell. It only weighs like 5 pounds as well, so it's like really small. I also have access to 2 25-pound plates, 4 15-pound plates, 2 10-pound plates, and then 4 7.5-pound plates, and 4 2.5-pound plates. And then I also have 2 adjustable dumbbell things for those plates to go on, as well as on the barbell. And then I have a resistance band with the handles, a regular long loop band, and then a small like hip circle. So I do have access to all that equipment, but for the first like month of quarantine, I only had the bands. So I did manage to still stay on track and still work out and things like that with just bands. I will say that the other workout equipment that I acquired is very helpful, and if you do have access to anything, take advantage of it. But you could literally use anything that weighs more than air to work out. So yeah, and the reason that I have this equipment now, because I know equipment is extremely expensive right now, so don't go out of your way to buy anything. I would say the only thing you really need is bands and your body weight, but you can also just do like your body weight. And I'll go over kind of how to structure workouts when you don't have any equipment at all. I'll talk a little bit about that. I'm not like an exercise science professional or a physical health professional, so there are a lot of really good resources out there, so access those as well. But I will go over some tips that I just have learned from being an athlete and from working out avidly for the past like 6 years. So I will go over some tips and tricks, but I acquired the equipment because my boyfriend had a bunch of equipment at his like parents' house from when he was in high school. And so he had all of the stuff that we have now, and he went down to his parents' house and got it a couple weeks ago, and so we only recently acquired the equipment. Other than the bands, we did already have the bands. So yeah, so I will be going over how I'm structuring my weeks. So another thing I will say is, and this wasn't always true either, I am currently working, so I got a job. I used to be a waitress and a bartender, and I did that for the past like 2 years. Obviously a very active job. I did it as well as all of my sports and things like that while going to school. I did have a job that I got laid off from, but I couldn't file unemployment because I was working at my school still as a tutor. So we moved all tutoring and things like that online, and I'm a writing consultant at my school, so I was giving students writing help still and still acquiring an income. It was literally $12 hours a week for $8 an hour, so not really the most. I can't live off that, like, by any means. Like, I could not sustain rent and things like that, and I have a car payment, so I had to figure something out. And I had a job a couple years ago where I worked as like a merchandiser for a company that distributes flowers to local stores like Walmart's Lawn and Garden Center, stuff like that. And so I got that job again. I just contacted my old boss because I knew that they needed help, and that was wonderful. And what I will say about this job, and I'm explaining all of this, you're probably like, why are you going over your form of income right now? I apologize for any confusion, but I'm explaining all this because at this job, I get anywhere from 14,000 to 20,000 steps a day. Like, this job is extremely active. So I'm prefacing that because a lot of people are working from home right now. And so when I go through the structure of my weeks, you might see that, like, I'm not mentioning extra activity, and that's because I'm getting on an average of 15,000 steps per day from my job. So I will go over sort of how I structured it when I was strictly working from home, because for about 3 weeks there, I did not have a form of income outside of just tutoring, and I sat at my computer to do that. So I will go over that structure as well and how I would sprinkle in extra activity, and then that will kind of supply some tips and tricks to how to work out, how to stay active while you're working from home, and then I'll go over workouts as well. So a peek into my week now. So as far as workouts go, I work out around 5 to 6 times per week, and I'll explain why they're not all like full-blown workouts. I would say around 3 times a week I do more intense, higher intensity, full body weight training sessions. And what I'm trying to do here is, obviously I don't have access to like anywhere near a working set for squat or deadlifts for me. I do actually have access to working sets. Like, I could do working sets for bench. But what I'm trying to do, even though I do have equipment, I still have minimal weight. I'm amplifying the amount of reps I'm doing and the sets I'm doing. And the reason I'm doing full body workouts instead of splitting it up into like upper body, lower body, or legs, back, chest, that kind of structure, is because I'm trying to increase my frequency of what I'm doing with the areas of my body that I'm targeting. So I'm trying to build my upper body a little bit more, and I want to hit my upper body muscles more often throughout the week. And this has been shown to kind of increase muscle growth and things like that. Obviously, I'm not in a building phase, but I am trying to maintain what little muscle I do have up top. I saw my body update in my health journey fitness plan and like my plan moving forward video. You saw that I do have a lot more muscle and weight on my lower half. I store a lot of body fat on like my waist down, and I also just have a lot more muscle down there. That's because of doing a sport like soccer for so long. I just built more muscle in my lower body. So I know that I'm going to lose some of that muscle probably just because quarantine, and also like I do have minimal equipment and things like that. I'm trying to amplify what I do have, but I'm expecting to lose a little bit of muscle just everywhere, but I'm trying to maintain the amount of muscle in my upper body as much as possible. So that's why I'm aiming for the full body workout. For most people, I would say full body splits are actually more beneficial and will give you more results that you're looking for. So unless you're doing something to target a specific sport or something like that, I would just say for most individuals, full body workouts are actually better for you anyway. Yes, so I am doing 3 more higher intensity full body weightlifting sessions per week, and then I'm doing anywhere from 2 to 3 sessions where I just focus on areas that I want to improve. So I'll do like an arm day, or I'll just do shoulders and like quads or something like that. Like, I just try and do, and sometimes I even still do full body sessions during these times. They're just lower intensity, like they're more moderate intensity workouts. So I'm doing, maybe moderate reps and moderate weight, and it's just kind of like a moderate intensity day. And that's just because so I actually shifted, and I'll explain that in a little bit, but my job is, as I said, like getting 14 to 20,000 steps a day. That takes a lot out of me, I'm not gonna lie. And I used to get about that much when I was waitressing and bartending, but I would only do that 3 days a week. And now I'm doing this job 5 to 6 days a week. So it really is like it's taking a toll on my body. I definitely have days where I just need like a break, or like I need to just do like a quick workout. I will say that I have been pretty consistent with my workouts despite getting home from work and being exhausted. So I am proud of myself for that, because it is a situation where I could just be like, I don't have anything to work for, so, but I am working for something. I'm working to be fit. I'm working to be healthy as I enter adult life. So I want to maintain that as much as possible. And I am on a fat loss journey, and resistance training is the best scenario for fat loss. So that is kind of what my workouts look like. The other thing I will say is I am focusing a lot on mobility and mobility sessions. So I do, when on my focus session days, and sometimes also on my weight training days, I do more active stretching and mobility work. I have ankle and hip mobility issues, so I do focus a lot on that. I do a lot of hip 90-90s. I do a lot of combat stretch, stuff like that. And then also just like unconventional, like more functional type mobility. So farmer carries, overhead carries, stuff like that. Stuff to just kind of keep my shoulder health good, all of those things. So that is what I'm focusing on for my workouts. And the next thing I will say is that obviously because I have access to weight, this has changed a lot. And so my sessions, my workouts are still like I'm at a gym. I try and still keep it the same. I'm just not doing as many compound movements. I still am doing compound movements, but just not in the same way, because obviously before I would have focused more on different rep ranges and things like that. Like right now I'm doing like 4x15 of back squat. Like I would never have done that before. Well, actually I did do that for a little bit, but and it's good to switch those things up. So I will say this. First tip. If you have any form of equipment, but you don't have like as much weight as you would normally do, the first thing you need to do is just increase your reps. Seems pretty obvious. Maybe you're like, thanks, Blake. I already knew that. But seriously, increase your reps. And this is the same for if you have no weight at all. And maybe a regular air squat still isn't enough, and you could do 60 of them before you feel anything. And if that's the case, okay, switch to a one-legged squat. Like, increase your intensity, manipulate your intensity to the best of your ability. Whether that be increasing the reps or changing what you're doing, manipulate intensity in order to get something out of your workouts. So that's the first tip if you have minimal to no equipment at all. The second tip I would say is utilize underused movements. And you're probably like, what are you talking about? Utilize things like isometrics or things like eccentric movements or tempo. So again, manipulate intensity here, but more like in a way that you're doing stuff that you wouldn't normally do. So if you're somebody who you can back squat like 400 pounds, or if you're a guy like 600 pounds, then and obviously an air squat is going to do very minimal things for you. But if you do an air squat and you do it with tempo, or if you do a one-legged squat, it's going to manipulate your intensity a little bit. But if you pair that with a wall sit that you probably haven't done since gym class in high school, that's really going to rev things up. And a lot of people forget that stuff like isometrics exist because they're not used in everyday training when you have all of this equipment. But isometrics are very good at developing your muscle. And part of the reason that is because you have to focus on the muscles you are using, because you're literally holding yourself up with them. So if you're doing something like a plank, you're focused on the burn in your shoulders and the burn in your abdomen. If you're doing a wall sit, you're focused on how bad your quads hurt or how bad your glutes hurt, depending on what you're using to hold yourself up, because you can kind of shift it. And that's another thing, is isometrics are valuable because you can manipulate what muscles you're using while you do them. And so doing things like I invite you to explore various forms of isometric training. And there are a lot of like stick drills you can do, like if you've ever heard of a dumpy squat, that kind of thing. Or just in general, just like you could do like push-up holds, 90-degree holds for a push-up. Those things are difficult, and like people don't do them because Well, they can just do push-ups or they can just go bench. But if you don't have access to those things, obviously you have access to push-ups. So, but if you don't have access to like a proper amount of bench weight for yourself or no weight at all, doing something like a 90-degree push-up hold, that's hard, dude. Do that for 4 sets of 30 seconds. Like, you're going to feel it tomorrow. But on a real note, well, actually that is a real note, but seriously, utilize different forms of training that you don't usually do. And the other thing is I think everybody in this time should maybe be shifting their focus a little bit. And maybe you don't have access to weights or gym equipment that you can use on a regular basis. So shift your focus. Focus on something that you're not good at, okay? That you can control. So for me, I'm really trying to focus on mobility and then upper body. I have access to build my upper body right now. Obviously, yes, I am in a deficit and I am cutting my calories, so I probably won't build a significant amount of muscle, but I would really like to try and develop my strength a little bit and focus on maximizing what I can do in this time with my upper body, since I can't really focus much on my lower body, which is what I have primarily focused on in the past. Shift your focus. The other thing I am focusing on is mobility. I really want to be limber. I want to leave quarantine and be like, I can move all types of ways. The other reason I'm focusing on mobility is because my job is so taxing. I am on my feet. I am lifting stuff off of a 10-foot cart, bringing it down to like knee level. I am lifting stuff from knee level and putting it up on a stand that's at my chest. Like, I am moving in ways and lifting things that I haven't done in 2 summers, but still, like, these are things that I need to stay limber to be able to do for a longer amount of time. So I'm shifting my focus. I'm focusing on something that I can control. You can do mobility exercises with your body weight. And you can literally look up on YouTube right now. You're on YouTube right now. You're watching me. You're watching my pretty face talk. Go to the search bar after this video. Finish watching first. And look up a mobility routine. Do that 3 times a week, 4 times a week before you go to bed or when you wake up in the morning. You're going to feel fantastic after like 2 weeks of that. And you're going to be like, why haven't I been doing this the whole time? And so I challenge you to think about things that you can improve upon that are different. And that's another thing. Like, when's the last time you guys did push-ups in the gym? Get good at stuff like push-ups. If you have access to like a pull-up bar or anything you can do pull-ups on, get really good at pull-ups. Get really good at movements that you don't usually do. Like, this is a great time for you to change your focus and focus on something new. And so that's kind of what my approach is. And I know a lot of you are like, okay, that didn't help at all, but it should have. Like, you should be able to take these steps, and no matter what your situation is at the moment, you should be able to maximize what you're doing in a way that's going to give you benefit in your training. And it might not be you hitting PRs and squat when you get out of this, but if you maximize these things now, it will improve when we get to go back to the gym. So that's what I have to say about that. I will kind of walk you through how I would structure things when I was more inactive, because I know a lot of people are working from home. And I think the most important thing when you're losing weight or trying to lose fat is to keep your activity level as high as possible. And I don't mean go for a bunch of runs a day or anything like that. In fact, I don't really suggest a whole lot of cardio, but I will say that going on regular walks to the best of your ability is very important. And a lot of people I know, there are some places that only have, like, you can only leave for an hour a day for some form of exercise. Like, you can only leave your house for an hour a day. If that is the case, spend that whole time going on a walk or riding your bike, something to just get you out of the house a little bit. I definitely think avid walks are the best way to go. So before I got my job, I was going on 2 walks every single day. And then how I was working, like, at my internship still, I still am actually. But how I would structure things is I would wake up in the morning, I would get ready, I would eat, and then I would take my dog for a walk. And then I would come back and I would work for a little bit, eat lunch, work for a little bit more, eat dinner, and then I would take my dog for a walk. And then usually, like, somewhere in there I would have my workout, mobility, that kind of thing. So I was doing 3 different spots of, like, activity, sometimes 4, depending on how I broke things up. And also I did I did 10 push-ups before each meal as well, and just throwing in stuff like that, like every time you go to the bathroom, every time you get up to use the restroom, do 10 push-ups, 10 air squats, and 10 sit-ups, something like that. That's gonna amplify your activity level way more than you know. Like, if you think about how much you go to the bathroom, like, I know that sounds weird, but like, really think about that. Every time you get up to go to the bathroom, stop, do 10 push-ups, do 10 air squats, and do 10 sit-ups, and then go to the bathroom, go sit back down. Unless it's urgent, then maybe do that after. But every single time, do some form of activity. Or every time you get up to go to the fridge to get a snack, do the same thing. Like, or just trying to find little ways to spread out your activity and increase it, and then also having like a traditional workout. The other thing is with us being at home, we have a very unique opportunity to be able to take a maybe like 60-minute workout and split it up into 3 to 5 sessions a day. And you can do like, okay, do 2 exercises right now and do them. And then 2 hours later, okay, do your next 2 exercises on your workout list. And you can spread out activity like that. And that is also going to kind of maximize the effects of your workouts because you're spreading it out throughout the day. And you're also not as fatigued while you're doing the various exercises. So that's another tip if you are like strictly working from home. If you are one of the essential workers, one, thank you so much for risking your health and the well-being of yourself in order to provide the services that people need every single day. Secondly, you're probably really busy and also really tired. Totally understandable. I get it. I'm not even technically, I wouldn't personally consider myself essential. I have been deemed essential by the greater body of my state, obviously, because I am working, but I am exhausted. Like, I totally understand what's going on with you, but you got to get that workout in, man. But at the same time, I want everybody to take a minute and to focus on something that's bigger than the gym. Because obviously, yes, you are trying to get fit, you are trying to get healthy, but that comes with different aspects being considered than just physical health. You need to think about your mental health. You need to think about your social and relationship health. You need to think about your nutritional health, those things. Focus on other things as well. Yes, maybe you can't get that solid, crazy pump in the gym today, but you could fix your relationships. You can FaceTime a friend. You can spend more time with your family. Those things are really, really valuable as well. And I want everyone to consider that along this journey as well. Like, changing your focus in that way can be just as amazing as changing your focus in your workouts. You know what I mean? So that is all I have for today. I just went over a little bit about my structure of my weeks and things like that. If you guys have any questions, please leave them in the comment section below. I will get back to each and every one of you. And yeah, if you liked this content, please, please, please hit that thumbs up. Show me some love. Please do it right now. And then if you are new here, again, as I said, please hit that subscribe button. Follow me along this journey. I will have more videos up later this week, so stay tuned for those. And yeah, let's get fit, let's get healthy, let's do this.